During the Revolutionary War, our forefathers fought for freedom. Freedom from the tyranny of those who sought to suppress that in which they believed. Now the war was won. Freedom was gained. Democracy established. But most of all, a voice was heard. Now this was a voice that could not be silenced, a voice that held no fear. This was the voice of the people. Now through this voice, the people were allowed to believe in that which they may, and share those beliefs without the fear of repercussion. So through this voice today, I am faced with the question, what do I believe? Or rather, in times such as these, what should we, the people, believe in? Now in a world in which people often take for granted that which they have, I look to things of true value to believe in. I can believe in the blood that was shed to protect this country. I can believe in the lives lost, in the pursuit of justice. But most of all, thanks to this voice, I can stand up here today and proudly proclaim that I can believe it's not butter. Now some may ask, why butter? Is it its smooth, creamy texture, its natural, intoxicating aroma, or perhaps the fact that it can even make one of those nasty little Quaker Oats rice cakes taste amazing? Now, these are all good reasons, mind you, but to these I say nay. No, rather, the true reason I speak of butter is that throughout its glamorous career, butter sought to bring happiness to the lives of many, and has proven itself time and time again that it is truly a miraculous substance. Through the years, butter stood speaking of truth and right in an otherwise slowly corrupting land. However, in 1986, a shadow crept over the horizon of the butter legacy. This shadow was the product known only as, I can't believe it's not butter. Now this abomination sought to undo all the good butter had worked so hard to bring to this world, and in turn set forth a horrible precursor to the American society. It took the wholesome values of truth and honesty and twisted them into an unrecognizable state of unbelief. Now this was due to the fact that for one of the first times in our country's history, our society had found a quote-unquote acceptable lie. I can't believe it's not butter. But is that really the truth? Personally, I don't think so. But as Adolf Hitler himself once said, you make the lie big, you make it simple, you keep saying it, and eventually, the people will believe it. Now, as much as I hate to say it, he was right, because America has done just that. We took the simple lie, I can't believe it's not butter, and we put it on billboards and in commercials and magazines, and guess what? The people believed it. Now, granted, our friend Adolf probably meant this quote in a more negative connotation, more similar to, oh, I don't know, deceiving the entire country of Germany and leading to mass genocide of millions of people. That does not negate the fact that it can just as easily be applied to butter for the purposes of this speech. But through this, we must also think, if we as a country are accepting these lies, then what kind of messages are we sending to our future generations? What kind of example are we setting for our posterity? Are we teaching them that lies are okay and should go unquestioned? Even worse, are we teaching them that butter isn't as amazing as it truly is? I ask you, can you substitute greatness? Because I don't think you can. We must instill the values of honesty within our society, and we must begin this by extinguishing the deceitful fire that is the I can't believe it's not butter franchise. You see it as just margarine. I see it as a ploy to unravel the very fabric of this great nation. From the very first moment I tried this deceptive imitator, I knew I was tasting a lie. I find it despicable for them to produce such an atrocity and label it under a name people love and trust, comparing it to greatness, only achieving mediocrity. Because see, that's the thing about the deception. When you finally approach it as you would the truth, you realize that maybe the truth was worth believing in after all. So should we just stand here and take this metaphorical slap to the face, or should we fight to protect not only butter, but the dignity of the American people? Butter never lied to me. Butter never did me wrong. Only brought me joy and comfort. So now, when faced with the kindness butter is granted, are we to just turn our backs as the reputation of one of the greatest culinary influences is desecrated in front of the lives of millions? Are we to let butter in itself slip from the eye of the public in shame as this trans fat-free imposter takes its place in the limelight? Let's examine the scenario momentarily. What would the world be without the honesty that is butter? Cold, dark place, We're toast. It's only a piece of warm bread. We're popcorn, just isn't right in a place. We're mashed potatoes, just weren't the same. Now we find ourselves in grief in light of these problems and look to a metaphorical savior, if you will, to show us that happiness we so long for. There, from the shadows, creeps forth, I can't believe it's not butter. And through this we see hope once more. It comes with promises and lower calories. And through this, that one brief instant of hope turns into a plethora of avenues and possibilities. Because it looks like butter. Because it smells like butter. So naturally it must... No. It can't be. The taste, it's gone. Promises crumble and suddenly zero trans fat and lower calories mean nothing anymore. What is butter without its taste? Its flavor? Nothing. And so through this we learn that you cannot replace that which is irreplaceable. And in the wise words of the famous Southern chef Paula Deen, I love me that country butter. However, with no butter, there would also be nothing to imitate. So is this paragon of honesty truly responsible for our country's oh-so-tragic fall? Through its very presence, is it allowed for this evil to creep forth upon this great nation? Yes, but we must first come to the understanding that one cannot have a full appreciation for light if darkness is not first experienced. Much like one cannot fully grasp the greatness of one of those delicious little KFC buttered biscuits if a bland one is not first consumed. In essence, you cannot fully appreciate butter if there was nothing to stand in its way. After all, doesn't competition make things better, stronger, more able to stand in the face of adversity and arise victorious? For instance, let's look to the political arena, if you will. If a senator or congressman run unopposed, then what is their inspiration to campaign for what's in the people's best interest? What is their motivation to improve current situations? There simply isn't one. Only when faced with possible defeat do true heroes rise from the ashes of stability to meet the challenge. So through this, we learn a new appreciation for the butter, which has oh so often had its tastiness and heroic efforts overlooked. And in turn, an appreciation for the honesty it represents, which the American people seemed to so recently forget. Now in this time of peril, in which falsehoods invade the minds of our citizens, and our society lay on the brink of near collapse, I look to butter for inspiration and guidance. I see butter as the example for which we are to mold this great nation, a pure substance that represents honesty and strength, even when times when no one believes in it. Now I saw the life of what it was. I looked deception in the face and waited for it to blink first. For I'm an American, and as such, I will never consume an allegedly healthier alternative in the place of a greatness that I have grown to love, much as I will never accept a lie for anything other than that, a lie. Now in a society that claims to stand for truth and justice, we find ourselves traveling down a slippery slope of deception, in which only the pursuit of truth can save us. Now it was once stated by Ralph Waldo Emerson that truth is beautiful without doubt. But then again, so are lies. The only difference is there's only one you can believe in. Now once again, thanks to this voice that was fought for, this voice of freedom, I can say these things proudly. That I can believe in truth, that I can believe in loyalty, that I can believe it's not butter.